Recording in
right.
progress.
Got it. All right.
So what'd you see outside?
Let's see, I didn't see anything. My connection is probably wrong. I need to select a USB port and I may have the wrong one. Okay, that's port. Huh. Refresh scan ports is dev. Oh.
They're showing Rho Ophiucus in the artwork for the scorpion.
Hmm.
The Nebula.
Huh.
Yeah, where's the horizon here? The sun should be set by now. Where's meridian? Oh, this is later at night. What time is it? That's 7:30, so that'd be 9. This is closer to where we're at right now. So really, we should be like this. I like using Stellarium, putting south at the bottom. Got the meridian, the ecliptic. And so Rho is right next to the horizon there.
Yep. I wonder how it gets up in the summertime, because I guess you may have to drive up to Camino Cielo to take it. I don't know. Hey, Mike.
Well, yeah, it must be early in the summer. It's higher, much higher. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But Jupiter and Saturn are right near the meridian, looks like right now.
Yeah, I don't do planetary.
Too easy.
No, it's not too easy. It's just that you have to change the setup, because I have to use a webcam or DSLR might work, but I don't know.
Something with small pixels. Although
there's something with a high sampling rate.
yeah, but you could always do region of interest on your cameras and get a much higher rate. I did that with my QHY 410.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, with my ELF I can get 200 hertz at 640 times 480, and that's good. But yeah, that's a pocket camera. You can use it if you can use it with the optical zoom and zoom all the way in, and then actually just through the eyepiece. I've done it once. It works. Anyway, I'll have to figure out what's wrong with I think I forgot to hook up my hub. Let me just check.
Mike, how's it going?
We had rain.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, like at least 5 inches, huh?
Yeah. And we got rain inside the observatory.
Oh, how bad?
Very.
Oh no. Where'd it come around the shutter?
Yeah, the area around the shutter basically developed a crack that I didn't know about. And when I went in the next day, when the rain let up a little bit, it was coming out pretty good. I thought it was where the slit was, it wasn't. So I'm getting a new part to repair that. But it was pretty bad. I realized I needed to get out of the observatory before I got electrocuted with all the wiring, and unplugged everything and then went back in. So
Oh dear. So what got wet?
A bunch of stuff in the bay. And basically, you know those gutters that are designed to keep the leaves out, where it goes against the curve and into the gutter. Well, the water, it's because of water tension. Well, the water tension followed it halfway into the bay and then dumped it there on everything. So
I'm connected.
You didn't have your laptop sitting there, did you? Or
no, I had a thing full of eyepieces and other electronic things.
yeah.
So
Were you able to save it?
yeah, I spent the rest of the week trying things out and getting things working. Yeah.
When was that rain? What day was that?
Oh gosh.
Oh, it's Monday. It's Monday. Just yesterday, really. Well, Sunday maybe for you.
Yeah, it was Sunday. No,
Okay.
day before. Let's see here.
I bet it was Sunday for you.
Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah, I think Saturday or Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know,
Yeah, that's
those the breaks. We haven't had much rain, so this crack could have been in the dome for a long time and not known about it.
I mean, is that fiberglass?
No, it's some sort of polystyrene or some other stuff. It's really weird stuff. You try and put glue on it, it doesn't stick to it. It's weird stuff. So and it came through the door again, and so the next night it still rained, and I tried to put all sorts of gizmos over the door, and the water still came through the door. But so I got everything dried out. So we'll see. I waiting for the replacement part. I put some packing tape over the crack, which basically the dome's made out of like 6 major pieces, and one of the major piece that would be solids where the slit is, and I just put packing tape over it, so it should be pretty watertight. Yep, right there.
So it came in. Oh,
It came in. It looked like it came in the joint there, but actually it was coming along the bottom edge there, and basically was whipping around farther. I mean, halfway into the shelf where there was a bunch of stuff there. Put to be out of safe. Put to be there because it was supposedly safer. So
yeah. But the crack was in the shutter, or not
no,
in the shutter?
it was in the bottom part of the dome.
So, oh, down here, actually?
No, go back to the other picture.
Let's see. Which way was that? Oops.
The other way. Right there. Okay, see where that the lamp
the
is?
shelf. Yeah.
Okay, go up a little bit. There's the wheel.
There's a wheel.
Okay,
Let me zoom in on that.
Yeah. Okay, so the bottom part you can see right there.
The wheel.
Yeah, the
Oh,
wheel.
okay.
Then there's a track. That track there is sort of like a W or M type shape there. Go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right there. That's where it cracked.
Oh. What's the warranty on this?
Well, working with the people I bought the thing through on getting that for free.
You're gonna get a
because
replacement.
I basically wrote to the person, I said, the only way this could fail is if there was a latent defect in the part, or the material used was too thin. And he came back and says, I'm sending you glue and some sort of bridge. So I don't know what that really means. To me, it would mean that part there. Because, I mean, there's no way of fixing it, because the crack literally extends from one side to the other, and it stops. It stops because it goes up and down. It's sort of like a complex curve there that would not allow it to go any further.
Is that gear teeth? Are those gear teeth? Are they glued on to the inside there?
It's put on with double-sided Gorilla tape.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
And some people have an issue with the track keeping stuck there. And again, I told you, this plastic is really nice. It's very durable. It washes off easily. It's just that the surface of it, for some reason, glues do not like sticking to it. So some people have had some issues keeping that track on there. I haven't. So, but what I did was I put a double thickness in some places and a triple thickness to make sure the teeth come out right at where the ends of the belt go together. A bunch of people have that issue where the teeth just don't come out right because of tolerances in the way that the dome is. So you have to fiddle with it a little bit.
So Mike, are you saying this is a wheel here?
That's a wheel to keep it. Yes.
I mean, here's
That's
a wheel
part of the wall. Yeah.
This wheel is vertical, and I can see the top writing on that.
That's right. And
but what is this?
It basically keeps it centered on that track, because that track really is nothing more than it's a curve. It's not a true track. So
how many wheels are there? One here? Is there one right here?
There's one in each of the
sections.
I think there's five vertical wheels and 5 horizontal wheels. If you notice, if you go past the rotator, there's a little dot there underneath on the wall. That's another sideways wheel, and that keeps it moving back and forth, and also provides a bit of retaining, because on the outside of the dome it kind of curves in a little bit, so the wheel gets stuck in the curve.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So and super strong winds, it hasn't come off yet, so I guess that system works.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So these were all separate sections, right, that you put together? Oh, they overlap?
Yeah. Doesn't leak there.
Oh, there's a leak somewhere?
Well, it leaks through the door, and then
the door has a rubber seal.
Yeah, but the shape of the wall and the door are not the same, and so it bulges out and the water gets in through there. So I've been trying 3 or 4 times to make something that would fit over that to keep the water out. I just tried this weekend one more thing, and it just didn't work out.
Sounds like Gorilla Tape's the only way to go.
Well, Gorilla Tape on that would keep it from opening.
I see. Okay.
So I'm going to have to get real creative with. I actually had some sort of foam, closed cell foam over it for the longest time, but the stuff just disintegrated from the sunlight. So I thought that I had it, I put another cover over it using the material from the floor there, but the rain just kept going in. Yeah, it got in there anyway. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting in a brace to push on the wall where the top of the door is to see if I can push it out to get a better seal.
Hmm. On the wheel there. Huh. Oh, you got IP storage on the floor. That's good.
Oh, no, that's just a little lantern.
Oh,
I'll tell you what works really well for in my observatory is these
bicycle light.
bicycle lights. The real inexpensive one. It goes right in the crack. And you notice that they're stiffening. This shoves right in there and provides really good lighting.
Hmm.
So, $2.
That's cheap. Oh, boy.
And so am I.
I bought a dozen of these little LED lights, and let's see if I can hold it in front of the camera. You can kind of see it's just a little
yeah.
LED, and you have to there's a battery, a coin battery inside there.
Hopefully a
And
2032 or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then I
Yeah.
have little Velcro circles that I bought 3 million of just to get the 3/4 inch Velcro circle. And I mount the Velcro circle on the back of this and mount it on the tips of my tripod legs. And it's kind of neat. It's kind of a constant light. It's not blinking.
Yeah, we used to joke about this one member, the VCAS. He'd kind of saddle up and going, "What you doing there?" And then kind of kick the tripod by accident.
Yeah. Did he do it by accident or on purpose?
No, by accident. He just didn't look. It's dark.
Yeah.
So we started putting lights on her.
Yeah.
and meet the guy before he got within 10 feet of the scope. But
Dick
yeah,
is
he was
coming
a
on.
long time member. Yeah.
Hey,
Kinda
Dick,
dark.
little dark there.
Yeah, I'm shooting. So you're gonna have to take me the way I am.
It's a little spooky.
Yeah,
So,
I just got the scope, or actually I got the 24 millimeter out there right now, shooting on Shutter is the center. Shutter Cassiopeia.
So why are you shooting at Shutter?
Because I want to reshoot. I've got a lot of these 24 millimeter images, and I'm reshooting them with this new technique where I keep a fixed relationship between the guide star and the camera from frame after frame, night after night. That's how I shot that one where I had it centered on Saturn. And it came out really pretty nice, I think. So
how do you spell the star Shutter? How do you spell that?
Schedar. I believe it's Arabic.
Yeah, that works. That works.
For
Yeah.
chest. It's the chest of the Queen Cassiopeia. And what's interesting is Saturn is also Arabic for chest, but it must be like a different form because it's the chest star in Cygnus. Saturn is. So Shutter is that star right there. Now, why did I pick that one? Well, it makes a nice, good center for a lot of stuff. You can get, let's see, M31 is in the.
Pac-Man Nebula, it says.
Yeah, Pac-Man is really pretty close to that.
Starburst Galaxy.
Yeah. Well, you got M31 too. M31 is in the periphery. So that's way
Well,
down there. And
Well, that's a long ways away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's 24 millimeter lens. So you have, but on the long axis, you have probably over 60 degrees of field of view. So that's what I'm shooting right now. And then I think what I will shoot after that would be, I'm thinking about doing the heart and soul with the 3-panel mosaic if I got time. But you know, I'm kind of running out of time. I got started late and with the rain and everything, so might not have enough time.
Caroline's Rose Cluster, Ghost Cluster.
There's a bunch of stuff there, a ton of stuff. The monkey heads in the field of view. Let's see, Heart and Soul, Seed 214 and NGC 7822. There's a lot of stuff in the periphery of this view right there. As a matter of fact, I think it might even get the North Star, but I'm not sure.
Over here.
It gets M33, which is the furthest south. I think it's just about the furthest south you can go. So yeah, Triangular Galaxy. And wonders of wonders, it seems that the observatory may actually be arriving. I don't know, you know, I don't know what to tell you guys, but it seems that that's the case. Now they're saying it's going to be crated up this Friday. And then I think I'm going to give it another week. I'm hoping they can deliver it the following Friday. I got
Where's it coming? Where's it coming from?
I think it's Minnesota. And I'm thinking I'm gonna guess, you know, I don't know, you know, how long it would take, but I'm gonna say if it could get here the next Friday, that'd be good, because I got my little helper coming Friday. And I think what I'll do is I'll just rent a forklift for the day, see, and then we can offload that with offload it from the truck, because I think that the dome is about 200 pounds. Everything else is, I think, lighter in terms of load. So,
well, is the dome
which brand is this?
No, it's one piece on the dome.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which brand is this?
I'm sorry?
Which brand of dome?
It's ExploraDome, and it is a 10 foot 6-inch round observatory. I think the top of it is like the top of the stationary part starts at about 53 inches, then it peaks up a little bit. The horizon on the dome is 6 feet. Okay, so that's the horizon.
You're saying
I'm hoping,
6 foot tall walls? 6 foot tall walls?
it's a 6 foot. Well, the walls are, it goes up to 53 inches and then it kind of slopes up again. If you look at the drawing, you'll see that it has. I could probably bring it up for you here.
Yeah.
I get this on here. Let's see here.
I think when I went to the ExploraDome site, it was like they said it was contaminated with something.
Oh, really?
They
Yeah,
didn't want me
well,
to
I'm
open
going
it.
to the OPT site. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of stuff going on here. But let me see what we got here. Let me see if I can show you what we got here. Share that baby. Share. Okay. Okay, so you got on this guy right here, you got it's 72 inches from the bottom to the horizon. So there's your horizon right there. So you got 53 inches to this edge here, and then it kind of comes up a bit. See, in the middle.
I see.
This is
Yeah.
10 feet 6 inches diameter, as opposed to, let's say, 8. The dome is 8 feet in diameter. Okay, with a 27-inch shutter. The door itself, the man door, is a 4-foot affair, I think. So you'll have to stoop down to go inside. But I'm hoping that'll be enough room for that C14. It's going to give me some extra room other than, let's say, just an 8-footer. I'll have some extra room.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm very hopeful that it's going to work out. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is the horizon. I've got a 3-foot high pier to the top plate, and then there'd be a little bit more for the plate, the adapter plate that goes to whatever mount you're doing with for. And then I'm going to say that the AP 1100 is probably maybe a couple feet high. And so by the time you get it all together, you're going to probably end up with, like, say 5 feet maybe plus. And then, so I'm not going to be shooting anything right on the horizon. I'm going to be up at least 20 degrees. So,
Yeah, you don't know how tight it is to get into my dome and not walk into something on the telescope, whether it's pointing east or west. There's just not enough room. So 10 feet, that's a good thing.
yeah, I think it'll help a lot. I'm really hopeful about it. The mount, I really like these guys a lot. You know, what's really neat about them, astrophysics, they're not going to take your money until they're ready to produce the mount. Okay, it's not like these resellers. They'll take your money anytime you want to give them the money. But these guys put you on a list, and when they're ready to do a production run, then they give you, you notify them. Basically, what you do is you get on the list. There's like a little notify button when you go on there for the mount, and so I just press that button, and that puts you on the list. And then when you put your email address there, and then when they're ready to start doing a production run, they'll give you permission to buy it. And so then you can go ahead and purchase the mount, and see, then you don't have your money hanging out there for, you know, a year or so, and then find out that they can't produce. So I was really like the way that they did that. And they said, they basically told me that the next production run, that I'll be in that one. So I'm pretty happy about that mount. The other thing I liked about the mount is the mount has an Ethernet port right on it. So that is really sweet, because that's kind of the direction I'm headed in, is for a high speed type of interconnect. And that's what I wanted to talk to HenkA a little bit about, because, you know, you were talking about remote observing and so forth like that. And the issue that I have with doing remoting into, let's say, remote desktop or whatever it might be, in that sort of technique, is there's an awful lot of latency associated with that. And I would rather have, if we can, an actual interface, let's say it be ASCOM or whatever. I think that's what they basically have on the AP mount, is an ASCOM, let's say a TCP/IP port version of the ASCOM interface. So you can actually hook right up to that hard connect and control the telescope that way, rather than having to go through a wireless hub.
Is that the Alpaca interface by any chance? Because they
Well,
use
you know, I don't know. I really don't know. But what I'm thinking, here's where I'm kind of heading. Okay, Alpaca is still really new to most people, and everybody's kind of like going in their own different direction, it seems to me. So what I'm thinking, the best way to go, Windows is becoming a very invasive operating system. The client side of the computing part of their software is very invasive. And so if I were to do anything, I would propose using a server, a Windows server, and then possibly you could put in an API for both ASCOM and Alpaca in the same box. Okay, so that you would have a translator. So you could go either way. That's kind of what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so what most people do in those cases, I think, is they have a little laptop sitting by the mount if you want to run Windows, and you connect to it directly, so there's no latency or whatsoever, and then you remote log into your laptop from your home.
Well, you know what my experience with remoting has been, there's been a lot of latency, and every time
how much?
Well, we're talking seconds, 2 or 3 seconds.
That's not normal. So maybe you need to get a better router, or what's the distance?
Well, we were talking about when we were doing it, we were remoting into from here, let's say in Paso Robles, we were remoting into a database in Houston. Okay, and we were using remote desktop. Well, no, actually, it was not remote desktop, but it was a secure version of that. I can't remember what it was. Something that started with a C. Anyway, this system had a huge amount of latency. Now, it could have been because we were on a satellite network. There's a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of things here, and
Yeah.
I think that where we were, we did have satellite connection up there. But I've even used remote desktop. You know, even
Right. So if you're not, unless you have a satellite router or whatever, it should not be a problem. I mean, you're talking about a situation where you log into Houston through a satellite. Yeah, that's going to be very slow, I think. At least.
yeah. Well, it was
the
a satellite
upload
was
speed-
here.
Yeah, the
Here
upload
was where the
upload speed is
satellite was, because the guys were up on some winery way up there in the mountains, and they
Sure.
couldn't get broadband. See,
Okay, the upload speed is going to be slow for
Yeah.
sure. So, but yeah, so do you have it? Let's see here. Do you have a how far away is your router from your telescope?
well, we were talking about this before. Is that if
Oh.
we use the wireless bridge, we're
Right.
basically talking about a hard Ethernet connection. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can go, and I think the throughput on that bridge is about 220 megabits. So it's pretty
Okay.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, okay. So last time, so you're not inclined to put a desktop by the telescope, right? Or
You
laptop.
know what
by-
my problem is, Henk, is the doggone computers are so invasive. The doggone thing needs an update every 2 weeks.
Right.
They've got the thing set up so the browser's coming up in the middle of your program and what you're doing. If you were out there doing something, I'm concerned about the reliability, just simply because Windows comes up and they want to do an update and they're just going to kick you off your system. See, now
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing right now, they're not going to do that with a Windows server. Okay, they're just not going to do that because you're paying for it, and they're not. And if they had downtime like that, they'd have a fit. People would have a fit. Well, on the client side, they just don't give a ding dong darn. So that's my problem. And that's why it bothers me, and that's why I'm looking at solutions like Alpaca, because we can move away from Windows API is the main thing.
Well, Hank, what are you doing for long exposures? Where are you loading your images into? Are you directly going from a Raspberry Pi into some storage system, or?
No, I store it all in the Pi. It has plenty of space, so it's not a problem. Yeah, it's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, so the response is pretty good. So I'm sitting here behind my desktop, and I move the cursor around, and I see it coming back right away. So there's a round trip, and it's pretty much instantaneous.
So
You're
you're
going over the
basically-
Wi-Fi? Hank, are you going over
Yes,
the
I'm-
Wi-Fi?
I'm on Wi-Fi, and I actually not too long ago, about a half year ago, I got a new router modem combo. So yeah. So this is my setup here. So I'm logged on to ECOS there. This is the auto guide menu and so on. I'm trying to get it to talk. For some reason, it doesn't want to sync, and I may have to go and reset the time of the hand controller. I'm not quite sure if that would matter.
Now, are you using ASCOM or are you using Alpaca or
No, Indy.
Indy? Okay, Indy. Okay, I was wondering.
But I'm just remote logged in through VNC. So all
Okay.
the stuff that you was just seeing here is running outside on my Raspberry Pi, and it's directly connected to the mount via USB.
Yeah.
I've got yeah. So this is a simple configuration. Right now I'm running the AVX with my AC 2600 and QHY, the SSAG. A simple configuration that normally I would run with my 12-inch Newt. And I'm sort of used to that right now. That's much more complicated, but that I've got set up right. And This one I still have to play around with. I don't know why it doesn't want to sync. You should be able to right click on Polaris here and say sync, and it should sync, and it doesn't. So now I have to say this time I clicked through the hand controller and did not set the time properly, assuming that my Pi would set it for me, and I believe it does, because when I look at what I see in ECOS, it has the exact right time and location. So that can't be the problem. Anyway,
So,
something I need to figure out.
Hank, your laptop in the house there, is that running Windows?
Yes, yeah. So, but what you see here, this is Raspbian. So this is the Linux desktop. So if I just click this icon here, then you'll see my Windows desktop.
Oh,
So it's as simple as that.
so you basically have two OSs on your computer, or are you just running a core Unix core?
No. I only have Windows on my computer. I'm just using
Okay.
VNC to. This is
Oh,
my.
so it's a standalone app that's running in Linux. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, this is my VNC remote login client.
So
I
it's
mean,
gotta
there's
have
several
some
ways of
kind
doing that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
VNC is the old one that runs everywhere. You can use it on Windows, you can use it on Linux or Android, no matter what. So I also, if I go outside and have to sit by the scope, that I'm using actually my Android tablet. It's the one that I'm using for this Zoom meeting, because I've got VNC on there as well, so I can just switch. And having a tablet is kind of nice because it's not as bulky as a laptop and it's lightweight. I can also connect it to Ethernet if I can't get the connection, but usually I can.
So Hank, I have to ask you, what is BNC?
VNC, you
Oh.
mean what the acronym
Oh.
means?
Oh, no, VNC, not BNC. Oh, so it's VNC. Okay. Virtual
VNC.
network connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's so old. I can't recall what it means.
BNC would be British Naval Cable.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I gotta go do some focusing. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So
Okay, speaking about remote and all that, and special things, did you guys have a chance to see the AltAz conference?
I saw a little bit of one, the first one.
There was some fantastic stuff where like using plate solving to locate yourself and do astrometry and other things, and it was fantastic. Richard Berry was doing with his 4-inch EV scope. He was doing as astrometry and more important variable star studies with that scope and getting real usable data that scientists would want. I mean, it's really outstanding. One of the things that they were doing with a program called PlateSolve, which is free from CDK, is people are using that with an ordinary telescope, not a super long focal length telescope or an ordinary telescope, and finding stars that look elongated and finding out if they might be candidates for close double stars or neutron or black hole and regular star systems. And it just blew me away. It really did. Also, a lot of these guys are getting on in years, and so they're coming up with like 30-inch telescopes that you can pick up and put in your car because they can't, they've been living with like 10-foot 500-pound behemoths, and they're going, well, let's see what we can do with a 30 or 24-inch telescope and be able to lift it up and not stand on a chair or a ladder or a stool. It's just, it's incredible. Yeah, so there you are. This guy is
He's making a
showing
sandwich.
out of foam and plywood. And basically I think that's like either 25 or 30-inch Dob f2 point something with a meniscus mirror. The big thing now is making meniscus mirrors. And so there are so many techniques. If you can slog through the whole thing on them making different things like that thing on the right there, that's an aluminum frame. He doesn't weld it. He glues it using the right type of glue. He makes
Wow.
a structure that's just as good as welding. And also another interesting thing that they were doing is they're very big on silvering mirrors now. They figure with a new type of ventilation system using a HEPA filter, which they talk about, that you can get a silver mirror to last not just 4 years, but probably twice as much. One guy was saying that he expects this silver mirror to last longer than he's probably going to be out doing observing. So, and also when you've got like a 30-inch mirror, you're using a lot of, I mean, it's a lot of money to get it to be illuminized. You know, we're talking lots of money. So these guys were,
Yeah, so it's all on YouTube to review all that stuff.
oh yeah, I mean, these guys are so far ahead of everybody else. Yeah, 40-inch f3.3 visual and imaging, but these guys are so great. I mean, you know, there's so much good work that they're doing now. And I discovered a new material. The first thing you showed was that sandwich of wood and foam that you have to
Right.
go make yourself. Well, there's this other material, and I forget the name of it, but it's there. It's aluminum skin on foam that you buy like plywood. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Okay, the edge support. Okay, so everybody's got these meniscus mirrors, and the issue is, how do you support it properly? And what works for, let's say, 16 or 24 or even 30-inch telescopes doesn't work for like 40-inch telescopes. And so this is the scheme that Mel Bartel's up there, who's the guy to help me finish my mirror, is going to support his mirror on the edge with these kind of like dingbats that are weighted. And so when you think about it, on the bottom, okay, the weight in the back pushes up on the mirror. On the top, the weight pulls on the mirror. So, and all around on either side, the pressure varies with the cosine of the angle. So the mirror basically is supported. It's not allowed to potato chip. You know, if it was supported on the bottom, the front end on the top would tend to fold over one way or another. It's being held in a supported manner all the way around, and his next telescope's going to use that. Another thing that they came up with, they talked about the system that's really revolutionary, is a laminar flow cooling system. And not only does the mirror get cooled quickly, but the laminar flow doesn't allow any of the from the mirror, from the heated mirror to ruin the image. It's sort of like, basically it goes from the back of the mirror around the edge through a deflector in a laminar flow to the center of the mirror, and it kind of like has a venturi that goes up to the top of the telescope, which has the other added benefit of keeping the dew off the secondary. Yeah, this is one of Mel's telescopes.
Monster.
Beautiful.
It's an f2 point something. It's a 30-inch mirror, and the secondary is held up with wire. The top part is nothing but thin plywood, and so the left part of there is actually a counterweight that they can take counterweights in and out to help keep things balanced. Another thing that I found out from is a lot of these guys are putting, go back to the other side. Okay. Okay, that counterweight is on the opposite side of the eyepiece. And the idea is that you're counterbalancing your eyepiece, okay, both from the moment arm and the weight that would make it go up and down. So with these, these radically short focal lengths, you need to be dead on in order for things to work properly. So yeah, so those weights serve two purposes. And you notice it's made out of wood. It's made out of like veneer wood, very light. And he was talking about the fact that secondary does not move at all because it's very critical at f2.5. And so a bunch of them are, I believe that secondary was made on a 3D printer.
I wonder how you culminate the doggone thing.
Well, first you have, it's in a, they have a jig that holds it there so that you can put the wires on and tighten it. And then another thing too, okay, on the left, okay, the eyepiece, okay, he's got a laser there, okay, and you notice up at the other end is a little stick of wood going up, okay. So what he's doing is he's determining how the focuser is aiming at the diagonal, okay. And from that, he knows, okay, now I can place my diagonal up and down exactly where it needs to be an offset. Another thing too is on the right, that's not a focuser like you would tend to think, okay, because of the short focal lengths of the telescope, you need a Nagler field flattener. And
Corrector.
what they're doing
Wow.
is using the tube of the field flattener as a helical focuser
Oh, wow.
and saving weight.
Holy
you gotta,
crap.
you gotta watch all these. Each one has this thing. Oh, there's this one guy with a 30-inch telescope, okay, that weighs like probably 800 pounds. You know how he moves it around? It's on its own tractor, electric
Oh,
tractor
yeah.
with
Yeah.
tread wheels. And they've got so many great ideas. Okay. So they're just showing off the older telescopes, what they had to do. I don't think any of these guys really want to go up on a ladder anymore and fall down because they're not going to heal like they used to. Okay, and this is Mel's Zip Dob. That's a 13-inch f2.5 telescope, and you can pick that up. It's very low, it's very light. The mirrors, again, Meniscus. This is his second or third Meniscus telescope that he made. And so these guys up in Oregon, they figured out how to take regular, plate glass and slump them into a curve and then finish them off. First with a, they don't use Foucault. They use Ronchi, and then they've got this on this website. You put your Ronchi picture on there, and you can tell generally how close you are. And then what Mel does and the other guys, they'll star test it and get it better. Yeah. Mel wants to build a 30-inch
Binocular.
binocular. Okay, and this is an interesting thing, okay, that it's not apparent unless you listen to it. Those are like ethos eyepieces, but they're angled. And it works out better optically if you angle it. And
Hmm.
because of the wide field of view, you can get away with that when you, with other eyepieces, you can't. So this is, all these guys are such brainiacs with this. Yeah. Yeah. There's,
Jesus.
yeah, he's working. Oh,
Dang. Now that's
okay.
a monster.
That's a 40-inch telescope. He's been
Oh.
working on it for a couple of years. One thing that they originally, it was direct drive, and this is done by is it Dan or the other guy of SciTech? Okay, they developed making direct drive motors, but what they found out with was that in reality, direct drive isn't all what it's cracked up to be. And so what he's done is machined a disc, a friction disc. And so one of the things that he was very smart about was that the small roller was heat treated to be much harder. And so, yeah, this is part of the centering. So, I mean, these guys have a lot of toys to make toys.
It takes toys to make toys.
That's right. This Kilm is, this guy's going to be doing slumping. Mary, he just got this. And some of them use a Raspberry Pi or a or Arduino to control the complex thing. Harmonic drives. They found out that they can. They're still pretty good. Yeah, there it is, right there. And it's belt driven.
Jeez.
Okay, it's belt driven up to the harmonic drive. And knowing these guys, it's going to work. I mean, you know.
Well, they look at the machine.
Oh, on that side is the encoder. They use the Renshaw encoders, which are like several million ticks per revolution.
Is it for astrophotography?
Oh yeah, for science. These guys do.
Okay, yeah.
I
Because
mean,
otherwise, for visual,
and photography, but yeah.
for visual, 2000 ticks would be enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, yeah. So the guy in the middle is the one that made the 30-inch with the tractor. And okay, Jerry Olton had a talk on what I consider an ultra portable 8-inch, or is it 9-inch telescope that basically is 1 feet in diameter and a couple feet tall, so that he carried on airplanes weighing about what, 6 or 8 pounds or something like that.
Huh.
Everything fits into the case, and everything when you take it apart gets used. I mean, these guys did such a great job, you know, figuring out things. But if you want to learn about Newtonians, you go to Mel's website. He's the one that started me down the road on that one thing about human vision. What can you see in the city? And basically, one thing they were talking about was that when basically going from an urban site to a dark site produces is equivalent to doubling the size of your telescope.
Jeez.
And basically, the secret to seeing something very faint is to make it very large in the eyepiece. Yes, it makes it darker, but your eye works much better on large objects than smaller ones, especially when it comes to contrast. And that's what you're fighting all the time, is contrast, looking at extended objects and nebula and galaxies. You blow them up as high a power as you can, and then they become large enough, and then your eye sees it. It's able to see things with less contrast. That was covered in a book by Clark that's no longer available, but it's actually based on some work done late in World War II. And I think I talked about this before, where they had a girls' school where they did all the study. They did 1 million data points with like about 20 or 30 girl students, and it basically hasn't changed since then. They basically kind of gotten the bedrock for visibility. But anyways, there's so much. Like, again, Richard Berry shows you how he was able to measure within about 30% accuracy the movement of Barnard's star with an EV scope over a couple days. Okay, and then he shows a Scuddy star where the light curve is good enough for real science. And the other parts of the talk showed, again, using a free software called PlateSolve 3, which you probably could use other ones too, but PlateSolve 3 really works really, really well. It's never failed on me. Doing astrometry, photographic, positional, and other things where they're finding candidates for black hole companion to stars. And it is, some of the stuff is real mind blowing, but there is, I think I sent you, or you should have the syllabus, and I can send it to you guys, and you can figure out which day to look at, because there's a lot. But a lot of success stories. One was kind of like off the wall, where the guy wanted to use a small telescope on a Dobsonian with PlateSolve to use as an electronic finder. I'm not sure if the guy is still trying to develop it. I'm not sure if he's going to be that successful with it. Certainly you can get good enough accuracy with some digital setting circles. But then again, they were really showing the utility and the power of a good PlateSolve program to do real science. And of course, they talked about the occultation things like, I forget what club member you guys have. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, they also talked about the Bortle levels and all that. And that's the one where it's sort of like you double your size of your telescope to see about as good as you can in our dark side. And they've got a term, attendu, Mel Bartel's, okay, which is about seeing large, faint structures better. We're not talking about, let's say, seeing Barnard's Loop or something like that in Orion. We're talking about seeing the extended nebulosity much further out with an ultra wide field of view with a short focal length. We're talking, if you go to Mel's site, some of the things are totally outstanding, where he's got a 6-inch telescope, ultra wide. Of course, his eyepiece of choice is an Ethos eyepiece to get the widest field of view. And he's seeing structure around the Pleiades and around Orion and all that, just super wide. It's mind-boggling. It really is. Yeah, there you go. Right there, 6-inch telescope, And that's the faint nebulosity that he sees around the Pleiades.
There's this thing that's called, I think it's called the Integrated Flux Nebula.
Yes.
And that's one of those ones that I think kind of like what you're talking about, where you wouldn't.
Yeah, he's got a
normally
whole
see it.
section on integrated flux. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so you don't normally even see this on an astrophoto.
That's
And here
amazing.
he's able to show you, you can see these things visually. But then again, the tool of choice is a super short focal ratio telescope with the ultra wide eyepiece.
Now, these aren't photographs, these are actual drawings that he's
Yeah,
made.
he's a really great drawer.
Beautiful drawings.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely gorgeous.
No,
He has a very
no,
good imagination.
Wow.
no, not necessarily. But the thing is, okay, when you get down to it, it doesn't matter what size of telescope you have. You're always going to see things down to 6 magnitude at best in the eyepiece. What the telescope does is makes things bigger, and bigger enables your eyes to see things fainter. I mean, it's hard to get your mind to wrap around it, but at least you go to 3 or 4 different websites, then they may have differences on, the last 10% of what you can see and all that. But basically, you make things bigger, you can see things better, and it's as bright as a 6 magnitude star that you see at night.
Oh.
That's true for extended objects, but with a larger aperture telescope, in the telescope, you can see more point objects.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. But it's apples and oranges when it comes to human visual acuity. So if you haven't watched this, pick and choose. And I think there's something for everyone there, one way or another. Just from new materials for building, the new ways of thinking about how to support a mirror and cooling it off. One of the things that I'm going to do, I've got that F20 Dal Kirkham 8-inch telescope that's always suffered from heat, internal heat eddies inside the tube. I'm going to apply that to that. And in my case, I don't have to do much to the telescope. All I have to do is put a ring around the top of the mirror that deflects it and makes it laminar to the center, and see if it works that way. But why some of them again are so thrilled about this new technique is they're attaching a HEPA filter to the back of their telescopes and blowing across 30 to 40 inch mirrors that are silvered, and that way keeping the silver from tarnishing for a lot longer.
Wow.
Because they're keeping dirt off the mirror that could etch it.
Huh.
So okay, I've talked too much. I'm sorry.
But you'd think that, I guess, that it's a short focal length that allows them to do that, because otherwise you'd think it'd create enough turbulence that you'd have problems. But
No, it doesn't matter.
Huh.
I think that the first telescope wasn't all that short of focal length. But,
amazing.
Well, I came in late. Would you mind repeating that?
I need a drink to replace that.
So Jerry and Dick, I think you missed that Mike was talking about his windy skies observatory had a leak.
Oh, I got a
Had a
video.
leak?
Oh,
I got a whole second. Let me. I think I can show you guys. Okay, I don't know if I can find it. Where did I put it? Let me find it. You guys talk, and then I'll.
I'm gonna have to go out and focus here in a minute, but
Is it pictures? No, it's. this
Dick,
one.
which astrophysics mount are you getting?
AP 1100, the AEL version, which is the absolute encoders with the extended temperature range. The temperature range on the standard goes down to 32F. That isn't going to be nearly good enough for me. You could typically in the wintertime get down into the 20s, even lower than that, into the teens. So we're zone 7 here. You can get all the way down into the single digits. So I got to have something now. That the AEL version goes down to 0F. So that should be more than enough for me.
Excellent, excellent. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping. I haven't. I've got my. They have as a guy. I was telling the guys. They have a notify button where you can put your name on a list. And they've told me that next year, I think they're going to do a production one, and I should be in that one. I'll be able to buy it then. And I like that because you don't have to put the money in until they're ready to produce.
Right.
Yeah. So that's really nice. And they're great people. They really are nice people. So.
You want me to show you
Yeah,
what
go
it
ahead.
looked like?
Yeah.
Go share.
Okay, hold a second. Oh, this is. Hold a second here. I don't know how I
I'll
got
do
this.
Dick's mount here, the
Oh yeah.
1100.
Yeah. You can go down there and select the one you want. If you go down a little further, yeah, you can see the Ethernet port on there. But if you go down a little further, yeah, select that one. That's the one right there, the absolute extended temp. It's a little bit more than the standard temp. But that's the one I'm going to get. And then you can just like notify, and that gets your name on the list, and then you can go ahead and buy it when they give you ready to do it. I got to go focus. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Mike, you find it?
I'm trying to. So,
And last week we had this lady, we helped her with her telescope, the 60 millimeter. At least I went over to her house and turned out she was missing a holder. So she went and bought $72 worth of stuff for a $100 telescope. And the main lens is defective. It really has the peeling coating coming off. So
they weren't doing her any.
yeah, I wish I could have.
What brand name was on there? Mead?
It was Mead, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but she found that some kind of company that, so you probably, I sent you an email, a copy.
Yeah, I saw the email. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Okay.
just kind of sad. The main lens was in such bad condition that tube needs to be reamed out from get the spiders out of it.
Mhm.
They weren't doing her any favors. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
they're
see
just
here.
selling her old
Movie.
parts.
Okay. Hold a second.
1001, 1002.
I got it. Hold a second. Okay, share screen.
Always say, wait a minute. Just a minute.
Okay, hold a second here.
Yeah, I used to
Oh, here we
say,
go.
I used to say, wait a second, and my son would snap back. Time's up.
Okay, here, take a look.
Oh,
Yeah, that looks like dripping water, all right.
Yeah, this was after it had rained. This is from me going out when it stopped raining.
Uh-huh.
So one can only imagine. And let me do a stop share and go back, and I'll show you the reason why. Right there. Okay, so the outside, you notice how it goes up and down. This is the track where the wheel goes into. This is the inside, and this crack extends all the way across the entire piece on the bottom.
Huh. Looks like it's duct tape time.
It's a good thing I had presence of mind to bring in my
Laptop?
I had these out there
Oh, yeah.
and I brought them in, and I had other references that I brought in. That stuff would have been a mass of mossy pulp, you know. So they're sending me a new part,
Good.
you know. I can hope.
Uh-huh.
So I'll be out of commission for a while. I did get my off-axis guider in, and before I had a chance to use it, the rains came, and
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
I've never had a observatory where I had to bail water. How about you, Jerry? Any progress on your?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got the last two pieces machined for my 18-inch. I wrote up a detailed thing for the next newsletter, which should be in there, short paragraph on where it's going. And everything is coming together nicely. I'm always impressed at how well I planned on different clearances and stuff, to pat myself on the back. But there's always something I screw up, and it makes me feel real stupid at the end. And that is that I used several places. I used 1/2 20-inch machine screws. And my requirement is that they be fully threaded all the way down the shank. Well, they don't manufacture that size with fully threaded shanks in 4-inch lengths and 3-inch lengths. So that's a custom machine job. So I did find the 3-inch length ones finally at, what is it, Master's Car, but I can't find the flathead hex, Allen wrench bolts that are 4 inches long that are completely full threads. So I'm talking to a machine shop over here. I've got one that's only partially threaded, and I've got a die that will work, but I would have to do it by hand, and I'd much rather have it done on a machine.
Well, can't you just use all thread and just cut the lengths you want and put whatever head you want on it?
No, you can't put a head on it that has any strength. The head has to be flat with the floor of the mirror cell, because it's going to have the mirror right above it. So I can't put a nut on a threaded shaft that sits there. The nut will sit too high, and then the mirror will sit on the nut. So it has to be a countersunk screw head. So I just assumed that any size you want that's reasonable would be available, but I guess that's not reasonable. So
Why do
we'll
you
see
have
what
to
happens.
have it threaded all the way through?
What's that?
Why do you have to have it threaded all the way to the top part of the?
Well, I've got a 1/2 inch of aluminum, and the threaded, or the countersunk neck sits down halfway, uses up half of that. So I've got a 1/4 inch of aluminum left below that. And that could be fine. That could be a solid shank. But then I have to run a nut all the way up to clamp against the bottom part of the aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thread on the other side goes through a support to hold it to the tube. And then there's a spring on the outside of that, and then a wing nut on the bottom to do the tip and tilt for the main mirror. So I'm sure I'll get it, but it was just all of a sudden, the whole parade came to a screeching halt. I was just about to start cutting up my carbon fiber tube to mount everything in it.
Did you guys build the tube yourselves? Or?
No. I looked into that for a while, and I got nervous about the fumes and vapors, and I don't really have the space to do it. So I bought one from a place that specializes in that in Minnesota, I think it was, called Rocket Tubes or something. But they make them specifically for large telescopes. And the carbon fiber that they make has no filler. It's not foam core or anything. It's just solid carbon fiber. And the tube is 4 millimeters thick. I got samples several years ago from that company and brought them to the workshop when we were meeting in person and passed them around and let everybody try and break them and stuff. So I'm confident it's pretty rugged and pretty lightweight. When I pick up the tube, it's easy to pick up, except it's real bulky. And if there's a wind blowing, you're not going to make it. So, but that's
And
just the
you're
tube
going to
by
be
itself.
putting this on your mount every time you go use it, correct?
No. My homeowners association approved a roll-off roof observatory in my backyard. So it's going to be mounted out there on a astrophysics 1600 mount permanently. And we're in the backyard construction right now. The crew has started not work on my observatory, but we're doing the backyard, and we're putting fascia on the block wall in the background so it looks like a stone wall. And then we're gonna change our patio out there, jackhammer up the old one and put down a new different shaped one that's larger because Pat wants to entertain more.
Sounds like a little quid pro quo going on there. in
There
the
was a
family.
negotiation and a financial discussion. So, and there may be some Tiffany's in the mix too. So we'll see.
So I take it you're probably going to have electricity run to it underground and
Yes, I am.
Ethernet,
Yep.
or
And I'm going to have right now I'm planning on having an Ethernet cable in another tube right next to the power tube that goes under the lawn.
Hmm.
So I can hardwire up to it. So,
I'd throw in some fiber optic too, if I could. Just even if you're not going to use it, or a means to pull it through so that in case the next newest, greatest technology comes through that.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
we had quite a fiasco with our internet here at the house. We had a Netgear modem and router that just simply quit. We don't know why. So we went and bought another separate unit modem and routers and boosters, and the router on that didn't work. So we take it back, and then we went to Best Buy and bought another Netgear router modem together. And now I'm back online, and with my choice of 3G or 5G or 4G or whatever we're at now. But I can't use 5G here in the house because our security cameras are not compatible with 5G. I don't
Is
understand
it-
why.
Because a lot of them don't have the receivers. in
Well,
them.
yeah, the electronics is not compatible with the data rate.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You sure it isn't 2.5?
What do you mean 2.5?
2.5 gigahertz band?
Oh, I
for-
don't recall the numbers. I've looked at so many different specs lately. They're all swimming together.
Yeah,
So
and of course they'll change and become obsolete in 5 years.
yeah, or less. So one guy suggested that we just go out and sit in our car because the car has internet and we can make it a hotspot for the whole house.
Except for one thing
What?
that people are finding out now, and I heard about it on the tech guy, that cars that are like 4 or 5 years old that get their updates over the air,
Yeah.
the cell phones are no longer working because they depreciated those bands. They were 2G or 3G or something like that. And so those are no longer working. So
Huh.
either you have to pay for a new module, or if you've on certain brands, they'll actually go and replace the RF modem module for you in that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's an obsolescence there.
Well, I know one thing that's obsolete now is AM radio. Because our new car and I've talked to other people, their new cars of different brands no longer have AM capability. They just figure it's completely passé.
Well, I think Wolfman Jack's going to feel a little bit lonely, don't you think?
Yeah, right. I'm not sure he needs to broadcast. He just yell it out the window.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. So yeah, you're going to miss out on some very off the wall talk show hosts there. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
I did discover on Facebook that there is a Dr. Demento website. And
Oh.
I've always been a big fan of his.
Oh, I used to listen to him when he just before he discovered Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, he was on that discovered him. Yeah, I used to listen to him in the 70s when I was
Yeah,
at UCLA.
Friday
in
night.
Westwood.
Yeah, I wasted a lot of good nights,
Yeah.
Friday nights, you know,
Mhm.
get a bag of munchies, you know, some Diet Coke or whatever, and just
Uh-huh.
waste another night.
Wasted. None of that was wasted. That was
I know.
mental recess.
Dr. Demento.
So
Weird
is
Al is
Dr.
a Cal Poly grad.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, every, you know, and Weird Al used to say that every album is a comeback album. And so I tell everybody at my age, every ride I do on my bicycle is a recovery ride.
Yeah, I'm starting to
Take a-
think that way too.
Take a victory lap.
Yeah, really. It's already doing up out there. I don't think
Oh,
I've got
yeah.
much night left. I put dew protection on for what it's worth.
It's supposed
I
to
don't
be
have-
really good here tonight, but I don't
No.
have a backyard to be in.
Oh.
So Dick, what I rigged up for that was I got a clear filter and I put a bunch of resistors on the on the thing that's screwed in there and just hooked it up to some electricity.
Huh. Well, I've got I've got those little strip heaters, and I've got one of those. What is it, Thousand Oaks or whatever the heck those controllers that they've got.
Oh yeah.
And I just rigged that up. But the problem is the 24 millimeter has a very shallow lens hood on it, so I can't really put it right on the lens hood itself. So I kind
Oh
of
no, you screw it on the you get a clear or UV IR filter and attach the resistors to that.
Well, no, I'm talking about what I got. I got
Oh,
one
yeah,
of these little
right.
strip heaters, and I just wrapped it around. And I'm going to try this. I
Go in-
tried the
always go-
other way where you do it around the lens hood, but it seems like it impinges on the field of view a little bit. So I'm trying to keep it out of that way.
How about
see how it
your wife's
Hair dryer.
hair dryer?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
there
what
you
Gary
go.
uses.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
think about that. Just put a hair dryer on there, huh?
Yeah, most of the
You
time they're
put-
not very noisy. Just
You put it on a separate mount so it doesn't vibrate. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to put it on all the time. Just
Yeah.
Just
Every
enough
couple
to get it
minutes.
off. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, we'll see. I think it's probably going to cloud up. It's going to fog up like it did last
Uh-huh.
night. Yeah.
So Dick, do you know people in the Central Coast Astronomy Society or?
No, I don't really. I haven't really done. I've seen that they have an organization, but I haven't really reached out to them at all. And I
Uh-huh.
probably should. I just don't. I just haven't really done it.
You know, it's probably a long drive for you to get there from Los Paso Robles.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
San
'cause
Luis
they're-
Obispo.
They're in the 5 cities area. They are in
that's-
San Luis, St. Louis, San Luis.
San Luis isn't too bad. That's about 35
Okay.
miles, but
Yeah.
you know,
Highway
the-
41 through the hills.
yeah,
I-
yeah.
The president of their society, I guess, is this Aurora Lipper, and she wrote this
Yeah.
book, astronomy book for kids.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
It's pretty
Huh.
cool. It's a nice little book that she put together and very
Yeah.
well illustrated.
She's a real live wire too. You ought to meet her.
Oh, really? Wow.
She's got a YouTube site for the
Yep.
club, and they
Uh,
interview people and things.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, I might have to check it out.
Gary Peterson was in that club, and I used to drive up there once a month and do outreach with him on the dark
Oh,
nights.
yeah. Okay. How's Gary doing? I haven't heard anything from him.
Well, he's late into Parkinson's disease,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and so he's not really able to do anything anymore.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
you know, Anthony Galvin in our club, Anthony's was doing artwork now, but he says he's got macular degeneration, so he just can't deal with focusing and things. So
Yeah, my dad had that, and they gave him a blood thinner think it was, and he hemorrhaged in his eyes, and then he was
Oh.
almost completely blind after that
Wow.
before he died. So,
Playing
So-
those side effects on drugs. Gotta watch
Yeah.
out.
So,
Yeah.
so Dick, you remind me of one or two things. The Emperor and Empire Straight Fights Back, or the second one is the Blair Witch
oh,
project.
because of what I look like here with my glowing eyes.
Yeah, we can just see the reflection of
Yeah,
the
that's
screen
it,
barely
baby.
in your eyes.
I was gonna get my red flashlight out. I had a red flashlight. I was gonna get that so when I talk, I can shine that on myself. It really look eerie.
Yeah.
It'll still screw up your pictures.
Your
Yeah.
laptop screen should be just put in night mode, should be just red.
Well, actually, may I make a suggestion if you're doing that? You know,
Oh.
I've got this the Wise camera here. You
Uh-huh.
know, the only light that's on is the screen.
Oh,
So it's there's a routine to make it into a webcam, and
yeah.
it's super sensitive.
You know, I have it. Let's see if I can get it up here. I don't know if I can do it or not. It might not let me do this. Let me see if I can do it here. I can't seem to bring it up. I'm not able to bring up the Zoom meeting. Yeah, it's blocking it. What I did is I put Blue Iris up, and Blue Iris seems to be interfering with the Zoom meeting. So I got to take it down. But I was going to show you what the camera network looks like, but I can't do that because for whatever reason. No, it's not coming. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it will work. Maybe it will work. Because I got it on the scope. I got one of the cameras on the scope. But okay, here we go. Let me see if I can.
You should be able to show us what you're getting.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna see here. So if I go. Well, it won't. It's what it is it's a pan tilt zoom camera. So that's everything right there. Okay, that's the observatory platform right there. You can see there's the little box with the laptop in it, and there's the scope and stuff. You can barely see it because that's about 200 feet away from where that camera is right there. So I've got 5 cams right now. This is pretty much the whole. That's east, and this is south, and this is west, and this is north right here. And then the PTZ cam is right there, as you can see, mounted on there. This is all hardwired Ethernet.
Yeah.
It's power over Ethernet is the way that it's connected up. And so the cameras get their power from the Ethernet cable itself. And it works really, it's been working pretty well. I really don't have to do a whole lot of maintenance to it at all.
So
and
Mike,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I'm going to do the same thing on the shop. I'm going to put 4 cams out there, so I have a total of 9 cameras. I think it's kind of an overkill, but who knows?
We just took down our 4-camera hardwired system and packed it up in a box. We're replacing it with one that runs on solar panels and then goes over the internet to us.
Oh, yeah.
So, but frequently, no matter what camera I use, I very frequently turn it on and I'm looking at a spread eagle spider.
Oh, yeah. Well, you saw the cobwebs on mine. And the actual thing about that is what you really should do is instead of using the IR lights that are on the camera, you should provide your own IR light source. They even make it so that they're PoE connected. But the idea there is you got to get that light source away from the camera, because otherwise all the artifacts, well, the bugs are attracted to the light for one thing. And then the second thing is that all the cobwebs, if you've got the light right there, see, they're going to show. But if you got the light off to the side, they won't show.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't know bugs could see in the IR. I know mosquitoes and rattlesnakes can see in the IR, but I thought that was limited.
Well, I don't know. I just assume they did because it just seems like they're just going all around mine. They're just,
I think it might be because the camera's putting out a little bit of heat and the
Yeah,
spider
might be
detects
too.
that.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know what it is, but they seem to be attracted to it, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
it's
we've
after
reached-
9. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say sign off.
Yeah.
I'll try to be
Thanks,
on time
everyone.
next week.
Hank is out trying to work his telescope, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I
right,
finally got it going. Are you
Good
guys
night,
still there?
everybody.
All right.
Good night.
Okay, bye,
folks.
guys.